The Could Be Better podcast network is sponsored in part by the Frederick Let There Be Rock School. Let There Be Rock School, located in Frederick, provides a world-renowned music lesson program and an unparalleled after-school rock and roll community center. Listeners can now get their first lesson free when you tell them Could Be Better sent you. Visit www.frederickrockschool.com and click the contact button in the top right-hand corner of the page to get yourself started.
Again, listeners of the show get their first lesson free if you tell them Could Be Better sent you. It's not too late or too early to learn your favorite Olivia Rodrigo, Dragon Force, or the Black Keys song. So go now to www.frederickrockschool.com and reach out today for your first free lesson. Welcome, one and all, to Season 3 of the Could Be Better podcast. I am here with my best friend, Colin McGuire.
That's right.
And he is here with me, your reluctant co-host, Chris Perry. This podcast is brought to you in part by Old Mother Brewing. Colin, it has been a longer break than normal, and I checked my podcast feed today, and I saw that our podcast shows is inactive. How does that make you feel?
Really? You didn't tell me that. That's kind of fun.
I wanted to upset you on air so we could get a true reaction.
I guess I'm a little bit worried that people think it's over, because it's not like we've come and said we're coming back.
No, and it's not like that. We've also said this is it forever. So loyal fans, friends, family, mom, thanks for listening. Thanks for thanks for coming back. I'm pretty, I think I'm the most, and maybe I'm speaking for just me, Colin, so maybe, I'll let you weigh in. This is the most excited I've been for the podcast since I think we first started. We've kind of gone through this new retinkering of the show, and I feel like at some point we keep saying, well, maybe if it'll stick, we'll keep it the way that it is, and every season we change it up. So for folks that are just used to it being something different every time, you get something different this time. So I guess you're welcome.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. I think that this will be good. If there's a season 4, I hope we keep this format, because if we could just do 2 consecutive seasons that are alike, perhaps people will get into the flow. But yeah, we're going to switch things up. Now, this first episode this season, and I'd love for you to set up the guest, but this first episode is pretty much like the old ones, right?
Yeah, it's a bit of a throwback where we get to spend time, not a rushed amount of time, not an extraordinary long amount of time, with one guest. And so the first episode of each month is going to be a guest where we have them in the Could Be Better studio. We get to talk with them. It is just audio only, folks. So if you're looking for a video stream, tough luck. You won't be able to find one. It doesn't exist. But Colin looks handsome. Our guest, Ahzay, looked very handsome. Was wearing some fresh Jordans, had some great whiskey with him, and had the coolest tumbler glasses. And it was a great time.
He didn't give us any whiskey, though.
He didn't. He brought the whole bottle and didn't share it all. And I don't even think he offered any. But I was like, hey, you know what? I got Old Mother beer, so I'm feeling great. You had your own special T-shirt that you were wearing, and so you were comfortable. You didn't even need to drink. It was a great time.
Yeah. No, and this was so long ago that I don't even remember what we talked about.
It was not that long ago. It was close, but
it was close to so long ago.
But no, Ahzay released a new record this year, so he was kind of on hiatus and then came back, and he just came back with a vengeance. And so he came back with a new record called At Some Point You Mature. And I texted him this past weekend, so Labor Day weekend, and I said, yo, this new record's awesome. Because whenever I start listening to one song, I have to listen to the whole album front to back. It's really, really good. And I'm excited for people to hear it. I'm excited for us to talk about him. I'm excited for people to hear a lot about what he's doing. He did a really cool show at FAC, like a little tiny desk thing with our friends. in Out 40 Media. Shout out to Kiki. And I was really bummed I couldn't go. I was doing something definitely not as cool or important, but probably parental. So I'm excited that we got to spend some time with him.
Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. He had his own photographer. He had his own videographer. In fact, I think he recorded the podcast to put out himself. So if you go listen to The Day with Ahzay, I just made that up. I thought it was pretty good off the cuff. I wasn't even sitting on that joke, but The Day with Ahzay coming to you in 2024.
On the Could Be Better Podcast Network. That's great. That's great.
So,
10%.
That's right. Well, yeah, 10% of nothing is still nothing. So yeah, no, it was great to have him in. And we're going to get to that interview shortly. We're also going to play a song of his at the end, which is what we've always done. Now, we wanted to use this format for the first episode of this third season, which is 4 seasons too long, because that's how we normally did stuff. But Chris, the next 3 episodes are going to be wildly different, aren't they?
Wildly. And I'm not going to tell you about it because I want you to listen. Because I think if we tell you, you will just beg us to drop them early, and we're not going to do that because we are a Thursday podcast. It's in our contract. That's what we have to do. We can't do a day sooner, unless it's a special. And unless it's a special Sky Stage season announcement podcast episode, which drops yearly. Which we had. If you want to go back and listen to our episode with Logan. But that gives a perfect segue into just our final thing before we get into the Ahzay interview here. This Saturday is the annual Could Be Better Nights at
second annual
Sky Stage night. So it is going to be at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at Sky Stage on Saturday, literally a couple days from now, Saturday, 9/9. And it's going. Is it 9/9?
I guess so.
Yeah, 9.
No. It's 9/8.
9/8. Guys, it's
because isn't September 11th next Tuesday?
So no. 9/8's Friday. It's 9/9. I'm right.
All right.
Yeah, it's
all right,
9 or 9er. So 9 or 9er. We got a show at Sky Stages. It's our friend, our lovely podcast guest that we just talked about forever and ever and ever, Natalie Brooke. She's going to be opening up or headlining the show.
I would love if she was a staple every year. She did that every year.
I mean, I think we could probably make that happen. She really only needs Old Mother Beer to fuel her funk playing.
Got an amazing band too. She's amazing.
They're so good. And then we have our first time in Frederick, the band Flower Bomb from Baltimore. Just kidding, Washington D.C. And they are coming up, and very excited about them. And then we have our friends of the podcast, friends of the show, Baby Photos. They
used to be pom-poms.
Used to be the pom-poms, and they brought us gifts, flowers and cupcakes.
That's right.
And it was deliciously lovely. And it was on Valentine's Day this year. It's only Valentine's I got, actually.
How are they doing? Have you talked to those guys? Have you talked to them?
Yeah, they're doing great. Playing
they're doing
shows. Doing cool
Are they
things.
really? They're playing a bunch of shows. They should be playing a bunch of shows. They're a good band.
They're great. And so they're opening up. Their music starts at 7, but get there at 6:30. Don't be a tool, I guess, right? I don't know.
We'll be signing autographs for the VIP ticket. It's only $150
each.
Yes. So we have
so
8x10s.
$10 to get in. Again, 6:30 this Saturday, 9 or 9er at Sky Stage. It's going to be a great time. Anything else that we're going to do, we used to talk a lot about shows, which we do a lot of them, but they're all on our website. They're all in our show notes. They're all in our calendars. We're not reading them off as crazy as we used to, but there's a bunch coming up. We are booked out through the rest of the year. We're announcing a bunch of things coming up that are really fun and exciting. So please read things and follow us that way. Colin, anything else you want to get to?
Please read things. I'll stick on please read things.
All right. And now we have an ad from our friends in Specialties.
This podcast is brought to you in part by Specialties. Are you in a band that wants merch but does not know where to go? Are you looking for great quality and affordable pricing? Do you have a design that you'd like to put on a koozie for your favorite consumable beverage? How about office swag for your job or giveaway items for all of your events? Okay, you get the point now, but you have to look no further than Special Tees for all your heart's printing desires. The Could Be Better podcast listeners can act now and get 10% of your first order if you tell them Could Be Better sent you. Visit their website at www.special-tees.com or use the link in the show notes to get the conversation started. You can even call ahead and visit their showroom to see all types of products, everything that they offer. Again, telling them Could Be Better sent you via email, phone call, or carrier pigeon. It'll get you 10% off your first order. That's www.special-tees.com. Special Tees. If you haven't worked with them, they want to work with you.
You see what I'm looking at? I know you see it. It's real different. Real different. Life short, I'm just gon' live it. Can't leave your life unfinished. What's mine? I got to get it. These days the view real different. I can't pay no mind. Do you see this view? Take a second, stop stressing, guarantee that you'll see this too. You feel me? Fresh off the plane, starting the campaign. Finish the drink slips, I'm starting some champagne. Starting with getting lit, how we did it in 17. Best fit, I'm ready, send me the magazine. That ocean view so crazy, right? All praise to the powers that gave me life, that gave me sight, just to take these flights. If the sky is the limit, can't be afraid of heights. And hey, yo, life short, I'm just gon' live it. Can't leave your life unfinished. What's mine? I got to get it. These days the view real different. I can't pay no mind. Do you see this view? Take a second, stop stressing, guarantee that you'll see this too. Check this. 25 years, no flights, that's wild, right? Never mind kites, we was taking on wild nights. A fear of flying, mainly rooted in dying, but you can't live forever. Man, what a wild fight. Used to hide behind future purchases. Down payment due, I can't turn over no worthless trip. Huh, that's how I justified it mentally. Travel was your piece, but that wasn't what it meant to me. Built a big island in the kitchen, but I could tell it was some islands I was missing. Not just talking Montego Bay, but feeling good not to worry what people say. This is where I've arrived. Got a departure time even if I don't fly. So I ain't finna limit what God been giving, cause when the time come, we gon' be eye to eye. I will say it's still key to be comfortable as you can, staycation and where you sleep. Y'all was right, it was more to see, I agree. But please heed to me, at your home is your piece of peace. I'm exactly where I prayed to be. I'm exactly where I prayed to be. Still got a lot to do, but yeah. Do you see this view? Life short, I'm just gon' live it. Can't leave your life unfinished. What's mine? I got to get it. These days the view real different. I can't pay no mind. Do you see this view? Yeah, take a second, stop stressing, guarantee that you'll see this too. Feel me? I can't pay no mind. I'm paying mine till my mind is time. I can't pay no mind. I'm paying mine till my mind is time. No mind, I is all the
How great does this feel to be back? Now, the most important thing about being a man is what?
You gotta smell good, you gotta dress good, and you gotta be groomed.
Man.
Get any lady you want at that point.
As I said, I'm 0 for 3. So this is so good. This is our first episode of the 3rd season, which is 4 more seasons than we ever should have done. How are you, sir?
Oh, I'm doing great. Doing great. I'll shoot you some links, by the way. I got you. I'll send you some cologne links.
Okay. And I guess I should cut my hair too.
Listen, that's an acquired taste.
Hey.
I'm about to start losing mine, so you might want to.
I am losing. That's
Yeah.
that's
Stress.
part of the problem.
Can only paint it so much.
Yeah.
You know.
What would you recommend cologne-wise for him?
Yeah. Well.
I think the brand I'm using now is called Elixir.
Ooh.
I think
Can you drink it?
I don't think so. I don't know if I'd try that, man. You might. Let me know how that goes.
Yeah, you can be a pioneer.
Smell so good, man. It's like I'm taken aback. People are filming us, and I just want to say, if cameras could smell, That camera would be on its knees.
Well, there's like what, some Willy Wonka thing? It was like smell vision or something like that, right? Wasn't there something?
Seeing smells or something like that.
Willy Wonka wasn't groomed. No, that dude got hair for days.
True. That's facts.
We've gotten
far
already.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a great episode. It's gonna be a great episode.
So Ahzay, I am glad that you're here.
Of course.
So for folks that are listening in and listening to our sister podcast, The Weekly with Kiki, Ahzay had a guest spot there. And so tell us a little bit about your relationship with Kiki, Out 40, and to Frederick.
Yeah, I actually asked my wife if I should tell this story before, but, in typical fashion, I'm not going to listen because she told me not to tell it. But
Sure.
So Kiki actually beat me up in 7th grade. She got suspended for it. So what happened was,
I believe
she told me, she was like, you got one more chance to F with me. Can we cuss?
Yo, you can say whatever you want.
You got one more chance to fuck with me. And of course, it's 7th grade. So I
of course you
fucked
pushed.
her again. I flicked her in her ear. She stood up, and I swear it was in slow motion. Like, edited everything. Slow motion. She stood up. Her eyes stayed frozen. And then she said, "What'd I say? What did I tell you?" My glasses were bent. I was on the floor. I don't even remember nothing else in between. And the worst part about it was we had to stand before Mr. Shill, and he was like, "Explain yourselves." And I just busted out crying, like, because I was like,
no.
Military parents. So, you can't suspend me, because if you suspend me, it's over at that point for me. She didn't talk to me for like 2 weeks, which, at that time, that felt like 2 months. But we've been best of friends ever since.
How
then.
did the ice thin then? How did that get good? Do you remember?
I think, we just did the typical middle school thing of ignoring each other for a little while. Sure. And then I think eventually somebody else told a joke, and then we both laughed, and it was like, we're not supposed to both be laughing. And then it was all good from there.
That's awesome. So, and then you guys just kind of stayed friends, and you grew up, I guess you graduated high school here in Frederick.
Did. Yeah. TJ.
Okay. And so I guess one of your music videos you shot at TJ.
I sure did. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about, Frederick still seems, you're not there anymore, but what's your connection to the city?
Yeah. So my parents met in the military in Fort Detrick, and they never left. So they were in the Army, and they both are in science, and they've been here ever since. Been here almost 40 years, and I'll come back and visit them often.
Sure.
So that connection will always be there. But like you said, I played football at TJ, graduated from there.
What position did you play?
I played all through high school. I was running back. I don't know if y'all ever heard Nick Forbes. I don't know if that's the name y'all have heard before.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, he was basically the successor to Terrence Kearns. But I was his backup. So
Hey.
we best of friends too. He ended up going to Cal, Berkeley. I ended up going to school at Rochester to play football as well. That was where that video kind of came from, was just having that connection and feeling like, okay, I think this would be a good opportunity to kind of like rally behind the team, rally behind Frederick as a whole, get some of the older guys re-involved. And, that was actually a cool little moment. I remember kind of walking on the sidelines after that, and like, I kind of felt a little Hollywood for a second. I was like, is that him? I was like, yeah, you know what? It is me.
That's awesome. So Frederick, would you recommend it, or are you like, nah, it's it's not for everybody?
Oh, Frederick?
Yeah.
Well, we would have been here had it not been for, again, hate to throw my wife out there, but if it wasn't for her commute, we probably would have been here again. But she's got a wonderful job working in DC as a vice principal.
Oh.
So, just making sure her commute was good. That's why we kind of ended up moving out. But I love Frederick personally. I think I was about to say good value, bang for your buck in terms of home value, but I was looking at some prices the other day. I don't know if that's necessarily true anymore.
No.
You see what the price of a studio gets you now.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, that's why we don't have video.
Yeah.
That's right. We had to sell it. In order to do this third season, we had to sell all our video equipment.
We're in a big cardboard box now. It's awesome.
But Frederick's cool.
I love school. So you play. I'm assuming you played on scholarship if you went all the way up there.
So it was Division III,
right?
So they kind of snuck stuff under the table like grants. I guess I probably shouldn't have said that.
Oh, you did though.
University of Rochester, they do listen.
Yeah.
Big subscribers to the podcast.
U of R.
Yeah.
Right.
I made it through all right. I'll put it that way.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. It was
cold.
You
play all 4 years.
I played 3 years, and then my last year I was, kind of struggling with school a little bit, focused on music and all that other stuff.
Sure.
And then I ended up having to do an extra semester there, and then I actually ended up taking my last class. The final villain of the movie was at FCC.
Nice.
It was kind of a little full circle.
Sure.
You know, it's a bit of a struggle to wrap it up there, but it was cool to finish it.
That's awesome.
Finish it there, but yeah.
That's a perfect segue though, because you just talked about music. That's the first time you brought up music.
Yeah.
How did that happen? How did you get into music?
It's a good question, man. So we can just stay right here at TJ, and it honestly started as a joke. I was crazy because Colin, I was looking at I was going through that interview we did in 2016.
He sent that to me. That was 7 years ago.
Yeah, man. Don't remind me of that. Man. But
you know, every time I ask you a question, that's why you look at Chris to answer. You won't even look at me. You're like, I feel like I'm old when I.
It's
look
more
at Colin.
position than
it's more position.
Yeah. Nah, you cool, Colin. It's all good. You know.
No, but so 7 years ago we did that interview, and you had some big things going on then.
Yeah, yeah.
So if that was 7 years ago, take us back before 7 years ago. I'm assuming it was before 7 years ago.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was. So if we go right back to them hallways at TJ, the red lockers, we used to harmlessly, as I said so eloquently in the interview we did, we used to joke on each other back and forth, and it was called Jonin at the time. I think once we graduated, they suspended it. You couldn't do it anymore.
Really?
But, yeah. So I was probably one of the people at the forefront of that, you know, and me, Gabe, and Clinton, and, you know, we were always joking on each other. And one day, I really don't know what possessed me to do it, but I just ran 3 of my favorite instrumentals at the time, and I just, like, started ragging on everybody at the lunch table at the time.
Like a freestyle.
It was written, but you know, it was literally just me like, yeah, your neck is huge, or you know,
sure,
you know, your haircut is trash, blah blah blah. But surprisingly, and again, remember this was back in, you know, I'm not gonna date myself. This was back when you could get a McChicken sandwich for $1.06.
Whew, I miss those days.
You know what I'm saying?
And the snack wraps at McDonald's.
You
Remember
feel me?
those?
Well, I worked at the 7th Street McDonald's. So I know all about that.
Oof.
Yeah, I know.
We all pay our dues.
we do. People paid me $5, if you could believe it. I was burning CDs. They paid me $5 for 3 tracks of me I recorded it off my computer.
It's best days, man.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, them $5 was like, I probably gave away like 10 of them.
Sure.
So you know, $50 back in the day, that's like,
that's
man,
like 50 McChickens.
Yeah, I can go to the kiosk, give me a fake chain, you know. I could do it all, you know what I'm saying, back then. But that's really where it got started. Yeah. And then from there, it was like, well, if y'all are kind of taking me serious when I'm really joking, let's kind of maybe see where we could go with this if we go a little bit further. So when I went to college, I kind of kept it going a little bit. Back then, I went by MC Colors. My last name is McCullers, so kind of little spin off of that. I did a couple of things early on, and of course we all artistically you get older and feel like, okay, that was kind of trash, but you know, that I kept that going, and you know, that the spirit of doing music then was cool, and you know, I just kept it going. I pretty much did music most of college.
But was that something like growing up when you, let's say you're 10, 12 years old, was music a big part of your life? You would listen to it a lot?
Yeah, my dad was big on like, I remember, so we had a Toyota Sequoia, one of the first ones that ever dropped, and it had the
They don't make those no more.
No, they do. They do. They just look like buses now as opposed to like nice little sport joints. But anyway, we had a 6-disc CD changer.
That was living though.
Yeah,
that was living.
It was living. And I think I told y'all before we started, my mom lived in that. My mom's family is from Alabama. My pop's family is from North Carolina. So we was taking road trips back then. Like, my parents didn't like flying, so we would pretty much drive 15 hours to Alabama and back, you know, 7 hours to North Carolina and back.
Yeah.
And we were just running through all sorts of stuff. Temptations, greatest hits. Barry White, greatest hits. Smokey Robinson, greatest hits. Michael Jackson, greatest hits.
So do you want to
Journey,
sing?
Greatest hits. Like,
Journey.
yeah. Don't stop, believe. Listen, I grew up on it all. My grandfather also made music. When my dad always tells a story that he admires his pops because he had the opportunity to like start going on the road and taking music serious, but my dad was born, so he pretty much made the decision. Because you know, back then in the 60s, it was like, not to say that you had to like choose, but you kind of had to like choose, because it wasn't like cell phones and stuff back then. Like, if you were on the road, you was on the road.
You're gone.
And you're taking a chance too.
Yeah. But all the way up to Granddad, it was so cool because like 3 years ago, he found, he actually recorded like an actual vinyl from back then. He was in a group where they recorded like some gospel music, and it was super cool to like hear that at the table. So yeah.
So that's you write rhymes. You're a hip hop artist.
Yeah.
Did you ever want to sing? Do you sing on your songs at all? Are you Drake?
It's funny. I think one of Kiki's interviews, she questioned if I was the Frederick Drake. But anyway, yeah, I mean, I carry a little melody here and there on some of my records.
Yeah.
I also have written some R&B music. So I don't know if you guys have seen in some of my music, Calvin Little, him and I, we collaborated on his EP actually, and we pretty much, I wrote like a lot of those stuff for him.
Yeah.
We're gonna work on some stuff for next year as well. So yeah, singing is in my heart. I feel like I'm pretty good in the shower. I'm also pretty good with a little doctoring up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love writing R&B music. Actually, it's a good little safe space for me.
So
here.
was the transition from like poking fun at people to kind of talking about stuff that matters? Was
Yeah.
that a hard transition, or was it kind of just like, hey, trial by fire, you're figuring it out?
Yeah, no, it wasn't really hard at all because for me, I feel like I've always written based on my real life.
Sure.
Which again, I hope most people do that, but some people don't. But for me, it was always about like, so when that project I told you came out, that was my real life. We were at the lunch table ragging on each other every day. My first project, albeit the sound quality, like I literally, y'all remember the microphones, the Apple headphones that had the microphone on it? Of course, the whole
I
thing
still
like
use
that.
those, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't sound half bad for back then, but I remember talking about some of my dad's favorite songs from me came from that project because I was just talking about how, man, high school was like I could like not study and get a B, but in college you find out pretty quick, yeah, that's not really the way that's gonna work out. You're gonna need to work for it. So I was talking about stuff like that and just things like that. So no, it was pretty easy, I would say.
That's awesome.
You talked about liking R&B and having all of that. This was something we talked about with Demetrius and there was this
Shout
piece,
out to Demetrius, by the way.
Yeah, there was a piece that I did this thing with him for the paper a few weeks ago.
I read that.
We got into this conversation about R&B, the difference between soul music and R&B, essentially.
Yeah.
Do you see where's the line of sort of delineation with that? Like, who are some of your favorite R&B singers? Who are some of your favorite soul singers?
I mean, R&B. I just grew up with R&B, so for me, it's like
It's hard to pick.
It's hard to pick for me. I mean, I named you quite a few.
That's true.
That would be up there for me.
You go all the way back with the 60s and the 70s.
Oh yeah.
All of that.
But if we're gonna bring it up, I think Usher is one of the greatest to ever do it.
Okay.
I mean, not only just vocally, but the whole stage presentation is great.
Or even without a stage, that tiny desk they did, it was so good.
Yeah, that was amazing. I love Beyonce. I know like some people have different opinions, but to me,
Who doesn't love Beyonce?
Yeah, who's wrong?
Yeah.
I mean that's a good way to put it. Who's wrong?
Wow.
But vocally, I know some people, if in certain conversations, may challenge that a little bit. But for me,
Yeah.
Beyonce can blow.
Yeah.
And she can sing while pregnant, while dancing and spinning around.
She
Like,
can do it all.
come on,
Coachella was legendary.
you know what I'm saying?
She's
Yeah.
Have you listened to the new Janelle Monáe record?
We was just listening to that a couple weeks ago. Yeah, I thought that was pretty
Why
cool.
Can I Just Float? That
Oh,
first
wow.
song comes
Did you
in
see
so.
the dance
God,
Do you get that on? I hope.
Oh, she
Yeah.
definitely did. That's just
Yeah.
running, so she for
Dude,
sure
I
got
love
that.
that record.
Yeah.
It's cool because she went from like that real like kind of, hey, I'm just trying out all sorts of weird
I mean,
drugs,
she let us have it.
and then this new one, she's like, okay,
Yeah, she let us have it with this new one.
it's good.
Yeah.
Speaking of good music, though, we're gonna play our second
Perfect.
song. Ahzay, so the first one we came into was "Do You See This View?"
Okay.
And this one is Gold Sodium. So kind of cue this one up for us as we kind of get into it.
Yeah, Do You See This View is from my new album called At Some Point You Mature. It's actually produced by a local producer that goes by Outlaw. He's super talented. If y'all can believe it, I didn't take my first flight until I was 25 years old.
Oh,
And so Do You See This View was a double entendre, not only just about, okay, you finally got out the country, took your first flight, and got to see something outside of Alabama, North Carolina, and Frederick.
sure.
But it's also in my time away over the last, 5 years, just kind of changing your view on different sorts of things in life. Not caring so much about what other people say, not caring so much about other people's opinions and what other people are doing. Just focus on what you got going on. And I feel like that was a lot of the reason why Steph and I saw a lot of successes over that time that time period where we were away
Sure.
was because we really just locked in and said, forget it. Let's do it the way we want to do it. Let's make our own rules.
That's awesome.
So yeah, do you see this view, Alpha? Of at some point you mature.
So then, for Gold Sodium, bring us into that song. We'll play that one next.
Okay, yeah. So the song is actually called "Wave Now" from.
Oh shit.
Yeah, no
Okay.
worries. From Gold Sodium Volume 1. So you got it right in some way. Yeah, that's me and Stitch's first collab, and Stitch and I have collabed on a lot of different tracks, and I really do.
Wait a second. You said this is our first collab.
Oh, yeah.
You mean you collab since then a lot?
Oh yeah, so that track is from 2017.
Okay, all right.
And so I wanted to just play that for y'all, so we could kind of do a little throwback. Also, Gold Sodium, we're a few years late, but we finally put it on streaming services and all that good stuff. So yeah, no, this was my first track. Stitches, that's a very important relationship to me, especially in terms of music and things like that. He's been a big inspiration, and I was always happy that he was willing to, a lot of people that have that sort of representation locally, they can kind of have that like mysterious, like,
Sure.
you should feel so honored to talk to me, but he never treated me like that. He always, anytime I shot him a text, like when I was struggling through this last album, he was like, nah bro, I got you, just give me a call and let's talk through it.
That's the best.
So that's my first collab with Stitch. We've done a few since then, and always a pleasure to collab with him. So
No matter where you go, ride your own wave, you feel me? If you got money on your mind and you got a whip, you like to party all the time and you got a whip, you got your crew, and if you know that y'all gon' stick down, tell your way to sit now, they gon' ride the whip now, whip now, wave now, whip now, so you got a whip now, whip now, whip now, whip now, so you got a whip. My success is the plan, no one blessed by the man, got it all on my mind, got it all in my hand. Give me the mic and then I bet you I'll drop you a dime. Give me $1 million and I'm purchasing patience and time. You in the middle of the dark, just know you a star. Don't get tied up in what's ahead, just look where you are. When do turn into dead, make sure it will big. I know regrets the devil talking, stay away from my lid. What you see is what you get, but think about the ocean. Take a dive into my mind and you gon' find a potion. I got the answer, yeah. Got me rocking the doves. See you riding all the waves, I hope you in love with your moves, in love with yourself. Do what you do and don't you do it for nobody else, no. I write down my wrongs right away. Shades on, but you know I see a brighter day. Hey, you got money on your mind and you got a whip. You like to party all the time and you got a whip. You got your crew, and if you know that y'all gon' stick down, tell your way to sit now, they gon' ride the whip now, whip now, wave now, whip now, so you got a whip now, whip now, whip now, whip now, so you got a whip.
Since 84, been counted out and it never did matter. You take a look into my life, see I could've did better. I did it though, learn to stand on my own. Keeping the sun in my vision, now success is my home. Every lyric on mission to bring some rest to your dome. And hope's inspiration echoes when I'm gone, 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 gone. Shine bright in the dark, be a spark. You can carry your world's weight with strength, P and pass through. Know when your day is weighing down, there's a ram in the bush. Sometimes to get to where you going, there's need for a push. Catch me outside, bet I give you a shove. See you riding all the waves, hope that you in love with your choice, in love with your life. Do what he say, it don't matter what they see is right. I confess my sins right away. Great song, and I'm headed to a brighter day.
If you got money on your mind and you got a whip, you like to party all the time and you got a whip. You got your crew, and if you know that y'all gon' stick down, tell your way to sit now, they gon' ride the whip now, whip now, wave now, whip now, so you got a whip now, whip now, whip now, whip now, so you got a whip.
Stitch Early, what a guy.
Yeah. Thanks for getting the song right first, Chris.
Hey guys, listen, it's Wave Now featuring Stitch Early from 2017.
To his credit, the file does say Gold Sodium.
Yeah, I pulled a Ron Burgundy. I just read what was on the teleprompter and I didn't think about it at all. But so
totally Steve Harvey. See, you got the beard, you got the mustache too.
Listen, I'll take that.
Got that mustache.
So
Looking
I
like
mean,
a big
who
man.
makes more money though, Steve Harvey or Ron Burgundy?
Don't know, maybe the
Ron Burgundy's not real. All right.
probably the
Hot
founder
take.
of the food truck festival.
Yeah. So we were just talking about you. So you stepped away.
I did.
Tell us a little bit about. So you said you played your final show, which was at
The Food Truck Festival.
which is
That's
fun.
Stitch Early, along with Alex and Chris.
Alex and Chris.
Not you, Chris.
No.
Chris
Way
without the
way cooler,
mustache.
Chris.
Yeah.
Without the
That
mustache.
was. Were you before or after the bouncy house went flying?
It was. I want to say it was after. Yeah. It was
Yeah.
after that. That was crazy.
That was crazy.
The dust started kicking up and
Yeah.
it got real cloudy. I was like, oh no.
I will never forget that in my life. I went the night before I went to go see Jill Scott, which Kiki makes fun of me for all of the time for liking Jill Scott.
She's tripping. I love Jill Scott.
Who
But
doesn't love Jill
I
Scott?
can't. I rushed back because Stitch was saying he was doing this festival.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I
yeah.
and I live. I don't. We are at the Could Be Better Studios.
Yeah.
Not that anybody lives here.
No.
Yeah,
but
no.
I walk down, and the
Could
minute
you?
I get through the gate, the bouncy house is in
Wow,
the
so
air.
you walked into that.
I walked into it, and I immediately.
Why didn't you walk out?
No. I immediately grabbed Stitch, and I was like, "How can I help out?" He's like, "Go grab this," and I'm just like on the ground. Dust is in my face. I
Yeah.
felt like I was
Mad Max.
desert.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
you
was
know.
wild.
My band played like two bands after. I think.
Okay.
I think it was us, and then it was Demood. So when were you on in the flow?
It's so long ago at this point. I can't even put my finger on what time we specifically were.
yeah.
It was hot still. If that's
So hot. Well, it was, and it's crazy too because I was thinking about that the other day because like that was such a cool moment to be a part of.
Oh, yeah.
And then like
It
I
was a great
remember,
day.
yeah, I remember
Yeah.
talking to Stitch. I was like, hey, like the world like changed right after that.
Oh,
Pretty
yeah.
much. And
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
how cool is it? Like you got to do it, and then like it should happen, but then it was still a cool checkbox that you got
Oh,
to
yeah.
do, and I was like,
Oh,
that-
yeah.
that's special.
Yeah, I know they put a lot of work into that too.
Tons.
So it was great that they got to do it.
So Food Truck Fest, and you're like, hey, you know what? I don't like Stitch anymore. Frederick Food Truck sucks. I'm out. Like, or what? So what started the departure from music?
It was weird, and it's so corny when I tell the story now, but it's just real emotions, right? So what happened was, for some reason, I had decided to send DJ Babsby my tracks like 2 hours before I went on. I didn't bring a USB. There's no Wi-Fi out there at that time. Like, come on now, who has hotspots in 2019, right?
Sure.
And we get there, and I'm on stage about to go up, and Babsby is like sweating, like,
I don't have your stuff.
I don't have your stuff, dude. And so technically at the time, it was kind of advertised as like a collab set with me and Paris Price.
I think I heard a version of this story before. Now that you're telling it,
Yeah.
yeah,
Probably.
And so what happened then? What was the end?
So pretty much, Paris and I had a collab song from his project at the time, and we did that, and I was so embarrassed. My parents were there. That was their first time that they would have seen me perform. My uncle had came from North Carolina. That was going to be his first time seeing me perform. That was going to be my now wife's first time seeing me perform. Her friend came from New York to see me perform. All that lined up.
My
and
goodness.
then because I fumbled. Here, by the way, I really do think I was saved, though, because I was literally... Okay, let me tell the full story. So about 2 weeks leading up to the show, I decided that, okay, I need to be healthy because I can't catch my breath when I'm performing or rehearsing these. So I decided to go on a Chick-Fil-A diet for 2 weeks. And
Good
so,
for you.
yeah, because I thought that was going to be the healthiest way. So like chicken sandwiches and chicken strips and fries and barbecue
Waffle
sauce.
fries.
The waffle fries.
So
here I
Except
am.
on Sundays, though. What were you
Except
eating
on
on Sundays?
Sundays. I don't know.
He just fasted. I'm not
we
eating
had a
on Sundays.
Bojangles right next to us. So I was probably doing
Don't
that.
do not lie to me.
Yeah, no, we did.
Where was
we
that?
We were in Largo at the time in PG.
awesome.
So,
To
yeah.
me, Bojangles is up here.
Oh yeah.
No, that's it. For,
Okay.
Like when I go down south, and I go down south a bit because
Oh, yeah.
I have family in Florida and I drive.
Oh, yeah.
I stop at every Bojangles. I even have the Bojangles app.
Oh, see, that's a step
Hardcore.
further than us. But yo, them biscuits ain't bad, and that barbecue sauce is a little bit crazy. Ain't it?
Those
Yeah,
French fries, they got that seasoning.
yeah, the
that-
Cajun seasoning on the fries. Yeah, no, that's crazy.
I
Sorry
wasn't
to
hungry.
interrupt you, though. Sorry.
I wasn't
Yeah.
hungry, and now I am.
Yeah,
Go ahead though. I'm sorry about
but
that.
so yeah, so of course, obviously that was a horrible idea. Going to Chick-Fil-A diet before, because obviously that's not healthy at all. And then so we're driving to the performance. Again, I had just set my tracks off like probably 15 minutes before we left, and I'm rehearsing my stuff to Steph and to Monica, her friend that came from New York. I'm literally stumbling over where I'm drunk. Let's be honest, I'm drunk, drinking water and alcohol at the same time. Because again, the water is gonna help me all the shots of rum that I'm taking. So
Yeah.
I truly think that had I had the songs been there and had I performed, I probably would have been like losing my breath and like forgetting words.
been
So,
bad.
but at the time, I took it as this is a sign from someone that like, because Paris at the time he had a lot of momentum going. He still does. He moved to California and he's doing his thing out there. But it felt like this was a sign. Like, bro, you need to go do something else. Go focus on your job. Go, this ain't for you. So I really did take it to heart. I came home. I probably spent like 3 hours just like complaining. Then I'd be quiet for 10 minutes and I would complain. Like,
how angry were you?
I was super angry.
And
it was my fault too. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It was completely my fault. There was no reason. Like, I had the track sitting on my drive. And at worst case, I could have at least brought a thumb drive with me.
Sure.
You know?
Sure.
But anyway, that sent me into a spiral of like, you know what? Let's just cut the cord and let's just focus on other things. Which at first was like, let's just go be a loser and not do cool artistic things.
Yeah.
But that turned into, you know, things started going pretty well with my finance job. Things started going well health-wise. I actually kind of got up off the Chick-Fil-A diet and started eating spinach and grilled chicken and things like that.
Did you tell Stephanie about this idea for Chick-fil-A diet? Because I feel like she would have been like, I don't think that's a good idea.
I don't think I ran that by her. To
See,
be
that
completely honest
sounds
with
like,
you.
just for any people that are on the
Yeah,
call,
yeah.
listening to the podcast, like,
And the live stream.
and the
right
live
now.
stream,
Yeah.
it's like, listen, just if you have these like big ideas, just swing them by somebody that
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you
yeah,
trust.
yeah,
you know?
But how about the Bojangles though? You dig Bojangles? Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
She'll do anything for that Bojangles biscuit and
God.
barbecue. She
I
will.
love
She will.
And that sweet tea is good. Hot take? Maybe it's better
Do
than
you know
Chick-fil-A?
that they make alcoholic sweet tea from Bojangles?
Yes,
I
it's,
didn't.
It's a sweet tea, hard sweet tea or whatever it is.
Ooh, that
Yeah,
sounds
Now? You
good.
get like
Sounds
a
like
12 pack of
That
it.
sounds crazy.
yeah. It sounds
That
like
sounds
a diabetic in a can.
So
Yeah.
well, there's that. So is Fireball. So then you go away. How do you reignite the fire?
So again, yeah, like I said, so just going back, you know, we ended up getting married. I ended up getting like 2 or 3 promotions. We ended up buying a crib. And then Steph was always kind of telling me, like, you do realize one of the things that made me fall in love with you was the fact that you had something else other than just.
And you smelled good, and you were groomed.
Well, yes, she did. She did appreciate the smells. Funny story though, the cologne you smelled today, I did get from her
Really,
father.
though?
Yeah. I got it from her pops. Yeah, Mr. Miguel got all the swag in the world. But anyway, that's why one of the first lyrics on their album is Steph told me to pick the mic back up. Homeboy, quit playing, because that's true. She was like, okay, I appreciate the fact that for me, for our future family, God willing, and for what we got going on, you put in a lot of work and things improved and got better for us, and we supported each other. But I think it's time for you to like get back to that creative flow. And guess what? Check this out. I'll help you. I'll start filming for you. I'll executive produce it. I'll help you pick your beats. I'll help you pick your features. I'll help you do all that. And so, yeah, what was super cool about the process this time was that Steph, literally anytime I would go to the studio, I'll come back and she would pretty much be like, okay, let's hear it. She would stop me and say, pull up this song from your project 3 years ago. Okay, you did have a lyric that sounded like that. Say it better this time. Like, she would do really specific stuff like that. That I thought was super cool, super motivating. So, yeah.
For me, it sounds like who you were, food truck Ahzay, to who you are now. Do you think you would have been as receptive to Stephanie's input like back then?
No.
Versus, that's beautiful, man.
No. Because I think back then I knew everything.
Right.
I knew that all the tracks on Gold Sodium 2. I knew that me telling Stitch, like, yo, here's my track list. Make your verse based off my track list. I knew that I had it all figured out. I knew this video right here was going to get 1 million views. I knew it was. Yeah. But, you know, you take time to reflect. You fail a little bit. You do Chick-fil-A diets for 2 weeks. You lose your breath.
But really, though, like, how do you end up getting that sort of maturity? Like you were talking about the new project. You're talking about maturity on the new project.
Yeah.
Was there an aha moment where the light went off, where the switch was clicked, and it was like, okay, now I'm going to change. Now I'm going to do this. I'm falling back in love with music again, because falling in love with music is part of that equation.
Yeah. Excuse me, I just take a step back because now I'm on my rum diet, so I don't want to belch in the thing. Anyway, yeah, I feel like once things just kind of started coming together, I don't think there was like a specific aha moment, but I think maybe the time period was COVID, because during COVID, it was literally me and Steph at the apartment 99% of the time. We would go to New York some to visit her family or come here to visit mine.
Sure.
But most of the time.
When are you going to rap again?
That's great.
Nah, but I think that stuff just, I think I had figured it out I figured out my formula for just everything in life, whether it was work, whether it was like our relationship,
Sure.
whether it was like I got into a car accident. I talked about that on the song with Stitch on the new project. I got into a car accident and I just paid the car off like 2 months ago. Nick Forbes, who I mentioned earlier, I literally that night was like, bro, I'm gonna ride this thing till the wheels fall off because I just can't. It feels so freeing to have no car payment.
Most definitely, yes.
It's amazing.
Yes.
That night, Dodge Challenger, 80 miles an hour, fender bender.
Just you?
To say the least, just me, thankfully. And honestly, thankfully, nothing worse happened. I could have flipped, whatever. Sure. But I was so angry that night. But then the next day, Steph was like, calm down. I think we'll be okay. I think this will work out for us. And then next thing you know, I realized, like, yo, if y'all remember, car values were going crazy at that time. So I got an appraisal for it from the insurance company. And they was like, bro, you pretty much can get like 70% of what you paid for it. And I was like,
cool.
Oh, okay. Let me go ahead and slide this over here. Oh, interest rates are what? Basically nothing. Oh, Steph, I think we might have something here. So,
and she's like, I know. That's what I said.
You know, you'll be all right.
Well, so wait a second. Then I know we got to get to the 5 questions here soon, but I do want to ask you this one thing before we get there because this seems to be a through line, at least this latter half of the interview.
Yeah.
Sort of blessings in disguise.
Oh yeah.
The things that at first you didn't really know this would turn out to be a net positive.
Yeah.
They turn out to be a net positive.
Yeah.
How inspirational does that play into your thought process moving forward, essentially? Like the positivity of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it makes the lows a little bit easier. I think it makes it easier.
You still get lows, though.
Of course. I think that's just part of maturity, is recognizing that that's just part of the game. Like, you're gonna take some L's at some point. No matter how much you have it all figured out, no matter how hard you try, you're gonna tell yourself, I'm gonna fast for 8 hours, and some days you're gonna just break it for that Chick-Fil-A diet's gonna come knocking at your door again. You know what used to get me about that is I would get the chicken sandwich, the fries, and chicken strips, and then get a water and tell myself that that's healthy. The fuck is that?
I'm the exact same way.
Yeah. What is that water gonna do? You just get the damn Pepsi Coke at that point.
Don't even get a Diet Coke.
Nah. The aspartame at this point.
Well,
you might as well just take the sugar, right? You know.
Gosh.
You got that.
We got the same brain.
There's nothing more.
Pretty much.
There's nothing that brings Colin closer together with people than love for fast food.
Listen,
Speaking of love, let's get to our specialty segment here. So we're going to bring this in. So our season 3 sponsor is Specialties. You can check them out at special-tees.com. You can get 10% off your first order if you tell them Could Be Better sent you. So for folks that are listening for Ahzay, for folks that are listening to us and are looking to buy stuff, please check them out. Now, we have taken some time. We put it in the workshop. We whittled it down. We carried it over to the bed, and we placed it gently there in the studio because we have a bed in the studio because we sleep here. And so now we've come up with a better system, which is now I ask 5 questions and Colin asks 5 questions. But today, Colin's going to start off with these 5 questions for this segment.
Let's do it.
And the new format for the show is we only get one guest a month.
Okay.
You are the one guest, so this better be good, man.
Okay, let's do it. Wow, I'm honored, actually. High key.
Yeah, very much so.
Wow, so y'all not gonna have nobody else on here? It's for a month?
For a month.
Yeah,
Well, we have other ideas, but you are our exclusive guest for the month of September.
So you get the top of the website for a full month.
Wow. Okay, are y'all gonna need a picture?
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay, let me do the Chick-Fil-A diet for a couple weeks.
If you can get a whole spread of just Chick-fil-A, that would be good.
And
all right, 19 seconds on the clock for each answer.
Well, wait a second. Let's explain that.
Sure.
So that's the other wrinkle this season is we have the 5 questions that I'm gonna do. Chris is gonna do. You only have 19 seconds to answer these questions.
Bet. Let's go.
Answer each question. We're not giving all 5 in his 19 seconds.
I mean, come on.
Some listeners might be dense.
I could have done that too.
All right,
here we go. And it's September, so this is all gonna be about the fall type stuff, which is so perfect that you were a football player. So
favorite season.
Starting on the clock. Here we go. Question 1.
If you were not an offensive player, what defensive side of the ball
Cornerback,
position?
easily.
Done.
And why?
Well, I mean, I'm not 6'2", 300.
You got time. I
Yeah, you
restarted
got
it.
time. You
Yeah.
got 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Go.
But yeah, I loved watching primetime growing up. He's why I started to love football when he was playing for the Niners. So yeah, defensive back. I played a little too. Matter of fact.
Question
in
two.
high school.
Question 2.
do
So
it.
that was all one?
Yep.
All right. Well, we'll take that as one. Question number 2.
Let's get it.
Your favorite fall food?
Fall food. I guess pumpkin like bread.
You eat pumpkin
Inject
like that?
it in my veins.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
Yes.
do like the pumpkin bread. It's pretty
Yeah.
good. Lemon loaf is better, but the pumpkin bread is pretty good come
Oh,
fall time.
I'll
will
fight you
admit.
on that one.
You good on that?
I'm good.
All right. Number
I'm good.
3. What was the most nervous thing that made you feel nervous about going back to school in high school?
In high school, who was gonna be in my class that I didn't know was gonna be in my class? Because y'all remember, as soon as you got the schedules, you hitting up your friends. But what about the girl that we just broke up? You know,
Or what
We
about
don't talk
Kiki who's
anymore.
going to punch you in the face?
Nah, we about it. It wasn't gonna be a different story at that time.
All right.
Question
Four.
4.
Let's go.
Question 4. Your favorite autumn color?
Orange for sure. Definitely orange. That may be
Like
cliche.
Florida orange, or like are we talking like burnt orange? Like what are we talking
Florida
like?
orange is a little more bright, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go Florida orange. It's it's mad versatile.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
it complements my skin pretty well, especially now that I got the beard. So
Hey.
yeah,
Question 5,
Number
bring it home.
5, where does fall rank in the 4 seasons?
first
for you?
without question because
Oh, boy,
because one day I
okay.
can rock me a hoodie and shorts. The next day I can rock me a full sweatsuit. Maybe the next day if I'm feeling like getting sick, I can rock me a short outfit.
Sure.
And it's lit.
All right, so that
So
brings
it's
into
first.
my question. Question number 1: hoodie season, best time of year or not?
Best, easy. Facts. There's nothing much to it. Period.
All right. Next.
Second one, you have a Washington Nationals hat on. Are you a Washington sports fan all over, or just baseball, or just World Series bandwagoners?
I might have to borrow some of my other seconds, but I'm actually a Cowboys football fan.
Oh, no.
I know. For basketball, I just follow play. I know. It hurts. It hurts. I love baseball outfits and their colors.
For sure.
So that's why I got like Washington,
Okay.
Baltimore, Padres.
That's 19
Yeah,
seconds.
second, okay.
That's all.
Follow up to this one. What baseball team will you not wear?
Probably the Mets, just because of my
The
adopted
Mets?
my adopted family.
Yankees.
Oh,
It's,
okay.
it's Yankees pretty
Wow.
much.
The
Everywhere.
Mets just got swept as we record this in Baltimore.
Yeah, it's pretty good. All right, question 3. So, have you been to Dallas Cowboys football game?
I have not been to a Dallas Cowboys football game.
Why not? I guess.
Well, Jerry, when you're listening, hook us up with some tickets. Would you go to a sweet game? You, me, Ahzay, Steph?
I would do that. It's
Yeah.
a hard thing to leave my head.
I'm a Cowboys fan because my dad, by the way.
Oh!
Throw that in there.
Shout out to Dad. So, question number 4: what is next in Frederick for you?
Next in Frederick for me, well, I got some more music dropping this year. Definitely gonna drop some more music next year. Gonna collaborate some more dope artists like Demetrius, Dejan, Stitch, Plus, and then we're gonna write songs for other people. There you go. Period.
Question
more.
question 5: what's on your bucket list now that you're back?
Bucket list. Now that I'm back, I want to either open for or host my own major show. Opening for Young the Giant was one of the dopest things I ever did. It was weird because it was a rock band and I was rapping and cursing and swearing and all this other stuff. But I want to do something like that again.
Oh yeah.
That's
I guess it's not a
almost
bucket list, isn't it?
Exactly 19
No,
seconds.
I'm into that because you already accomplished it. But I'm cool with doing a repeat of a
we
bucket
didn't
list.
even talk
That's
about
it.
you playing with Young the Giant either,
I
because
know.
that
Yeah.
Chris sent me that piece.
It's so cool.
And I forgot that had happened.
Yeah.
And college shows are so cool because they can just do whatever they want.
Yeah,
And it's like,
yeah.
it's so sweet. All right.
Yeah.
We're going to wrap this up. Thank you so much for coming
course.
on.
Thank
This
y'all
is
for having
super
me.
great.
Wait, where can people find you? Where let's Instagram, whatever.
Yeah.
Like give every social handle. Pump
Well-
yourself up right now.
Well, so Ahzay, I don't know who the fuck else has Ahzay, but I had to do Ahzay _
Yeah.
on Instagram.
I do
Well,
this.
can you spell Ahzay
Yes,
for people?
AHZAY _ on Instagram. On Twitter, that I've tweeted probably twice in the last 3 years. I'm Sir
Gotta
Ahzay.
up that game.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
not Twitter, it's X, by the way.
Is it X now? Did they
Yeah,
officially change? I
Ju-
saw that.
ju- Just
I
move.
saw that.
Just move over to Threads. Nobody likes.
Okay,
it.
yeah, I
It's
was about to
fine.
say I need to migrate to Threads and TikTok anyway.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean Instagram, Facebook, Sir Ahzay. I did go by Sir Ahzay at one point. But again, that was before Steph would have knocked me over the head and said, "Sir Ahzay, really, sir?" Okay.
As this interview's gone on, I like Steph more and more and more. So
Oh
this-
no,
so-
Steph is the GOAT.
yeah.
He's the GOAT for sure.
So thank you for coming on. All of these links are going to be in our show notes for things that are coming up. So if you're driving, if you're showering, if you're shaving, whatever you are doing, everything will be written down for you. This was great. Thank you for coming on.
Thank y'all for having me.
If you had 5 words to send this entire episode out on, what are those 5 words?
Gold. Comeback. Wins. Losses. Chick-Fil-A.
The Could Be Better podcast was recorded at the Could Be Better Studios somewhere in the middle of Maryland.
This state-of-the-art facility has welcomed in everyone from Ringo Starr to 50 Cent, and it can accommodate all of your podcast needs.
What?
Never mind. If you like what you hear, follow us on Instagram, Facebook Threads, and Zanga. Do not forget to check out our website, www.couldbebettermeh.com.
Also, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, Overcast, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts if you want to make sure we come back for a 4th season, or don't, and maybe we'll listen to you.
Well, plus don't forget to check out all of our brother and sister podcasts exclusively within the Could Be Better network.
And if all else fails, hey, at least come out to a show every now and then.
Wait, we do shows?
This is so much fun. I'm Chris Perry.
And I'm Colin McGuire. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. And don't forget, this could always be better.
The Could Be Better podcast is proud to be a part of the Could Be Better podcast network. We're passionate about creating and using these platforms to dive into topics such as exploring lo-fi, impulsive, small, and otherwise overlooked artworks and creative practices, what happened in the world this week and how to laugh through or at it, and hearing stories from musicians of all walks of life. Check out these podcasts. Could Be Better podcast, This Is Not My Magnum Opus, The Weekly with Kiki, and a brand new show with Stitcherly called The Population, wherever you listen to podcasts. You can visit couldbebettermeh.com/podcasts in the show notes to see the current shows on the Could Be Better podcast network. Let's hang out as we figure out more about ourselves, the community around us, and why Ted Lasso is the greatest show of all time.